6 o'clock, and I'm going to call this regular city council meeting to order on October 3rd, 2024 at 6 o'clock p.m.
Allen,
Present.
Carmack,
Present.
Combs,
Present.
Fetter,
Present.
Harrison,
Present.
Spicer.
Present.
Thank you. Would you all please rise for the prayer and pledge of allegiance? Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you in prayer to ask you for your wisdom and guidance and blessing on the work we do here this evening. Let us do it with respect for each other and our community. Bless all of our first responders and their families. Keep them safe from harm. We pray for all of those that have been affected by Hurricane Helene. Give them strength to face the rebuilding of their communities and their lives. In your holy name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any guests here to speak this evening? Seeing no guest, I will open the floor to the public, but guest? No, that's for public. That's when the public, yeah. It's okay. Okay. I want to give a few ground rules before we start here this evening. If you are here to speak about the South Lebanon Historical Society and want to speak, we request you choose 1 to 3 to speak for your group for 3 minutes each per person. Please keep your remarks respectful. When you are finished speaking, please take your seats. After all have spoken for the Historical Society, if anyone else would like to speak to any other matters, please speak then. The floor is now open to the public for public comments. Oh, Lisa Wilson.
Thank you. My name is Lisa Wilson. It's like right here.
Your address.
Oh yeah, I have it. 572 West 22 and 3, Mainville, Ohio. And I'm speaking tonight on behalf of the South Lebanon Historical Society. I'd like to remind everyone that we have our fall craft show this Saturday from 4 to 7 at Rogers Park. We'll have vendors, music, raffles, and food trucks. This benefits the King's local food pantry, and we'd like to ask everyone who comes out to bring canned goods or personal care items to donate to the food pantry. We'd like to thank Councilman Spicer for making a motion to renew our lease at the last meeting. It's not on the agenda tonight, and as he had requested, which is concerning as we expressed our desire to renew almost 2 months ago and haven't heard anything until Councilman Spicer made his motion. We only meet once a month, so if there's a problem, we need to know. We have made commitments for next year, so if council does not intend on letting us stay in our building, we need to back out of those commitments and provide an explanation, especially for the Veterans Program, as well as figure out what we're going to do. We had our meeting last Tuesday, and I was asked to speak for the group concerning the lease. We would like to know tonight what council intends, as we only have 2 months left in this year. Thank you.
May I speak?
I think,
According to rules of council, not right now.
yeah, not yet. It would have to be when when each of you are given the opportunity to speak.
At the end of the meeting.
Okay.
We want to give each member of the public who signed in the opportunity.
Is there anyone else to speak on behalf of the Historical Society? Seeing none, Rick Gibbs.
Thank you. My name's Rick Gibbs. I live at 1204 Trevillo in the Riverside subdivision. First thing I would like to say is 2 months ago, we approached council for some no parking signs that we would provide where we had 2 school bus crashes and they passed that as an emergency. I'd like to thank you all for that and for the city manager and the public works guys to make sure that got up before school started. The second one was the dumping, which I believe fell onto the city manager, and thank you for making sure that got taken care of. While I'm here tonight, even though we have many issues, I'm only going to talk about one issue tonight, and I'll meet with city official on the other ones. Am I allowed to hand pictures?
Yes.
Okay. We have a problem. These are all the same.
Here,
I
we can
ran-
pass them down for you.
I ran out of ink, so here are I only have one of these two.
We can share, yes.
We have a problem at the bottom of Sutton at Mason Morrow Mill Grove with drainage. The developer, I guess, did not install a public drain there. And as you can see from the pictures, anytime it rains, this is what we end up with. Now, cold weather will be coming, this will be icing over. The reason that this hadn't been a huge problem in the past, it's always been a little problem, but the HOA has a drain right there. That is now plugged up with mud from the construction of Redwood and the trucks driving through. All that water coming down, since there is no regular drain there, comes in our drain. Now, we did dig the mud out of the pit and get our arm this far up the pipe, it's clogged with mud. To me, there needs to be a drain there, a public drain, which at a cost to the city of installing a public drain would be a little bit of an expense. The HOA, and I am the president of the HOA, we are okay if the city wants to clear the drain and put some concrete right there, get a couple bags of Sackcrete over that mud and to the drain of using our drain. I think that would be the cheapest way of the city or for the city. And I know this is no fault of the city, it is of the developer, but the HOA has already spent $15,000 taking care of draining issues in our neighborhood, and we just don't have the funds to continue doing that. So I would ask that the flooding down there be resolved, but we're more than happy to let you use our drain.
I spoke with Rick before the council meeting, and I suggested that Rick meet with myself and Mr. Haddix to discuss this and see what we can do.
Yeah.
And we hopefully will have, Jerry, a meeting set up for October the 8th at 2:00 p.m.
Thank you to listen to our
Thank you very
concerns.
much. Tim Rolfs. Oh, I'm sorry, Tom. Tim, Tom.
I've been called worse. Um, Tom Ross, 412 North Section Extension. Relatively new to the village. Been working out of town and living out of town. Just came into town about a year ago. My question, it's really a question. Do we have an ordinance about maintenance of people's property? Namely, like cars that are in there for unusable cars and RVs and ATVs that are parked on people's front porches. Is there any ordinance that could be looked at for that, or is it already in place?
Yeah, I would have to, yeah, there's one in place. So it's typically the ones that are unlicensed or unusable, so.
Yeah, I mean, I know when we built the bridge out here, had to redo the bridge. I mean, there's a big ATV or RV at West Park there. It's been there for, I know, I've been here in and out for 5 years. I know it's been there for 5 years. And then there's people that park their all-terrain vehicles on their front porches, and they have a trailer in the back, and
Yeah.
I'm like, is that way? I mean, I'm not that persnickety, really. I mean, just wonder if that's something that we would want our town to have be looked at, like, I mean, especially as fast as it's growing. I mean, there's a lot of people doing a great job at redoing the homes. I think it's fantastic. And, but there's others that just really don't care. And I was wondering if there's an ordinance that could give them 60 days to remove it or something like that.
There are property maintenance codes that exist in the city. And if the city administration is advised of a potential problem, then the process is for a certified letter to be sent to the property owner with the alleged violation, what the proposed remedy is for that alleged violation. And if the person doesn't do what that proposed solution requires, then they could potentially be charged with a criminal violation for failure to maintain their property. Now, hopefully it doesn't get to
Yeah,
that
really,
point
yeah.
that people, clean up their properties the way that they're supposed to, so they comply with the regulations.
Mhm.
But those things do exist. And so I prosecute in mayor's court too, so I see some of these things come in.
Okay.
And if it's a problem, then we send out the violation letter and then it goes from there. So those things do exist.
Okay, do they have to be, well, I mean, just a resident, or is there somebody in the administration building or something that goes and looks at those things? Or does somebody have, like, would I have to say, this person at this address needs to be addressed?
Typically, if, for example, you see that there's a trailer on somebody's porch at such and such property.
Right.
If you called, for example, Jerry, or sent a message in, and we know about that problem, then we send somebody out. They look at it to determine whether
It's a
they're
violation,
violating the regulation or not, and then it goes from there.
Okay.
Yep.
That's all I have. And
Yeah,
thank you.
sure. If your number's on the sheet there, I'll grab that and maybe give you a call.
My phone number isn't, but my home number is.
Okay.
I think you live up on top of that hill.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm the one that's got the, right on top of the first house.
You got the view up there.
Yes.
Okay, if there are no one else to speak to the public right now, I'm going to close the floor to the public. And I want to reiterate, after closing the floor, there will be no one to speak from the gallery to the council or anyone on the dais. There will be no disruptions in stopping the business of council. And if there are, you will be asked to stop. And if you do not stop, you will be escorted from the chamber. Moving on to new business. Resolution 2024-34. This is the first reading, approval of an agreement with the Warren County Soil and Water Conservation District for calendar year 2025. It is so entered into the record. Were there any discussions or questions about that? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Emergency Resolution 2024-35, approval of an agreement with Keefe Commissary Network to provide bail bond payment processing for South Lebanon's Mayor's Court. Is there discussion?
Yes. Why is this an emergency?
So basically, we just got the agreement back. There's when somebody's in jail, they have to either pay cash or post a bond. The county jail does not post or does not take cash anymore. So if it happens on a weekend or after hours, somebody has to get called in, take the money here, and then relay it back to the jail. So it's really necessary that we get this taken care of immediately to get this ball rolling and get us in the system, in this kiosk system. Plus the cost of overtime if somebody has to come in to do this. You got to find somebody then, because it's usually unexpected. So that's the reason.
I have a question, or actually a statement. The one thing that I did see about this, say someone gets in jail on a weekend or a holiday, they have no way of getting out until they can get to someone that can post bond. So therefore, if someone has to be in work on Monday morning, they're gonna be missing work. So I think that with this being able, it just makes it a little bit easier for them to post bond, get out and be with their family.
So do I have a motion?
I have a
Oh, I'm sorry,
question.
I didn't see that. Sorry.
I have a question for the law director. What constitutes an emergency in this scenario?
An emergency is typically defined as something that would have an impact on the public health, safety, or welfare. So arguably, somebody being in jail on weekend and not being able to go through this system could potentially be an emergency because it could affect their welfare or safety or well-being. It just is a way to get it done more quickly. If you don't pass it as an emergency, it's treated as a first reading for tonight. It'd be second reading at the next meeting, and then there'd be a 30-day waiting period. So we'd be looking at a month and a half, roughly.
So I just feel that these emergencies have become standard operating procedure for this administration. And I feel that council has been negligent in our duties in allowing this to continue. So that's how I feel about it.
Jerry, would you like to address that?
I mean, it's, we have to do things that are timely and that need done immediately. And this is one of those things. So it's up to you guys. It's the charter states you have the authority to declare something an emergency or not. So it's all on, if, you know, I think there's a requirement. You either have to have a bond or a cash payment system to if somebody's in jail. I think that's what Karen was telling us. So if somebody gets in jail on the weekends, if somebody's going to have to get called and come in. So
So I'm gonna make a motion to waive the two reading rule.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Allen,
Yay.
Carmack,
Yay.
sorry, Combs,
Yay.
Feder,
Yay.
Harrison,
Yay.
Spicer.
Nay.
The motion carries. I'm sorry. Motion to approve by title only and a second.
I'll make a motion to approve by title only.
I'll second.
Allen,
Yay.
Carmack,
Yay.
Combs,
Yay.
Feder,
Yay.
Harrison,
Yay.
Spicer.
Nay.
Motion carries. Emergency Resolution 2024-36, authorizing the transfer of appropriations between the general fund programs for Warren County Auditor election fees in the amount of $9,800. Is there any discussion?
I have a question. Who's going to be harmed by this not going through tonight?
Councilmember Spicer, I received the settlement tax payments at the end of September. I'm required to post those to our system and to close the month of September books. I will not be able to close the books until we have the amount of expense there to post the expense side of it. So it will delay us closing our month-end financial statements. Could we delay that? Yes, we could. If we put it out for a month and a half, then we're talking about middle of November and we won't have September closed or October closed. It will be in the month of November. The decision to hold the special election was made by council. And at that time, the cost was not known how much that would be. We would be charged from the county auditor's office for that special election. So I was not aware that I had budgeted 10,000, hoping we'd be in that ballpark of 10,000, and it came in much higher at $19,800. So I don't have another option to move it from somewhere else because that's within a program of fees for the auditor's office. Unlike other areas where, like mayor's court's expenses, I can move between travel and training. I can from, their office supplies or something. I don't have anywhere else I can take this money from other than doing a transfer between two other programs. It does not change our budget at all. It does not change any, it doesn't increase the general fund's budget. It's just moving the money from one area and putting it into another so that we can do our business. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? I will need a motion to waive the two reading rule and a second.
Make the motion to waive the two reading rule. Combs?
A second, Lindown.
Allen,
Yay.
Carmack,
Yay.
Combs,
Yay.
Fetter,
Yay.
Harrison,
Yay.
Spicer.
Nay.
I will need a motion to approve by title only and a second.
Lindown, I make a motion to approve by title.
Mary Ann Harrison, I'll make a second.
Allen,
Yay.
Carmack,
Yay.
Combs,
Yay.
Fetter,
Yay.
Harrison,
Yay.
Spicer.
Yay.
I need a motion to approve invoices, but if there are any questions, please feel free to ask.
I do have a question for either Tina or Jerry, I'm not sure. When I look at number 1 on here, the Rivers Crossings TIF distributions for that top number, and then I look at number 3, it's still a Riverside TIF at 35. What's the difference there?
You go with me answering? I know, I'm sorry.
Two separate.
Yeah, they're two separate TIF agreements. One where the schools are given 35% of the settlement of service payments that the city receives. That comes in as part of that real estate settlement that I was talking about that we just received last week. So when that comes in, we get the money for these two different TIFs. And of course, with our agreements with the school, for the Riverside one, they get 35% of that right off the bat. And then the rest of the funds would go to pay the debt that is out there for that Riverside development. Rivers Crossing, it's a minimum of at least 2,000 or the 274,717. That is the minimum requirement. Otherwise, it's 20% of whatever we would take in. 20% at this time is less than the 274. So that's why they've got a guaranteed amount that they will receive before we make distributions to anyone else.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I will need a motion and a second to approve.
Make a motion to approve?
Combs, second.
Allen,
Yay.
Carmack,
Yay.
Combs,
Yay.
Fetter,
Yay.
Harrison,
Yay.
Spicer.
Yay.
If there are no corrections or additions to the approval of minutes for the regular meeting September the 5th, 2024, or the regular meeting September the 19th, 2024, I will need a motion and a second to approve.
I make a motion to approve September 5th, 24 and September 19th, 24.
Combs. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Carmack
She's good,
did it.
she's good.
Allen,
Yay.
Carmack,
Yay.
Combs,
Yay.
Fetter,
Yay.
Harrison,
Yay.
Spicer.
Yay.
Motion carries. Did you want to? This one, isn't there other business?
Yeah, we'll get it.
Okay, all right. Okay, moving on to communications and reports from city officials and committees. Mine is we've had a busy week as usual, and I want to thank the staff for all their great work. We do have a new tax clerk who is really doing a great job, right, Tina?
Yes.
I attended the Veterans event on Saturday. It was a great event, and there are many organizations to help our veterans in Warren County. Please reach out if we can help direct you to those organizations. The next Municipal League meeting is October the 16th at Armstrong Center in Lebanon. The official invite will be sent out on Friday, but I'll give you a little heads up. This is going to be an event to honor Larry Sims, our county engineer Neil Tunison, county clerk Les Spaeth, not Les Spaeth, Jim Spaeth, sorry, and one other person, Scott Lips. So I will let you know, and you can let me know if you're interested in attending. And that's all I have for my report. So we will move on to our Director of Finance.
I just want to report that last week I spent Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at my annual Government Finance Officer Association Conference. This year it was held in Cincinnati. And I just want to let you guys know that I'm thankful that we fund those of my ability to continue my training. And at that conference, that gives me the opportunity to be with my peers in the government finance area to talk about policies, talk about internal controls, talk about fraud that's out there, talk about banking options, and other areas of my field is that we work in. So thank you guys very much for allowing me to go to the conference.
Thank you. Our Administrator, Jerry Haddix.
Just a couple things. Yes, we had some power outages last Friday, I think with the storm coming through. Our guy actually happened at the end of the day, so our guys did a good job cleaning up and taking care of a few little emergencies that came up. So and hats off to those guys. Now they're out to do the crack sealing now, so they're driving around doing our pavement maintenance. So it won't be long. They've already got the leaf pickup scheduled and got all the equipment ready. So that'll start probably middle of this month, depending how long it takes them on the crack sealing. So Forest Avenue project will be starting the 11th of this month. So forest between section and high will be closed for approximately 6 weeks. Columbia Road roundabout is the engineer's office said this. Let's see. Well, that starts on the 11th. Yeah, that's when they're planning on starting construction on that. Let's see here. I had the Planning Commission meeting on Monday. A couple items. The final section of High Meadow. The plat was approved, so that'll be coming back. And that's a total of 110 lots for the whole development. Starbucks renovation was approved, so they're going to be spending about $550,000 to renovate their store. And then the health department van will be here next Tuesday, I think from 9 to 1, something like that. And I think that's all I got for now.
Thank you, Jerry. Our Law Director, Andrew Meyer.
Update on the bond issue. I'm still in the process of gathering all of the court information related to court costs and fees that other courts charge. So I should have that finalized and ready to present to council by next meeting. I just want to let you all know that. And then to expand upon the comments about the property maintenance issue that you raised further, I did want to let the audience know, and you specifically, that Jerry and I are still working on methods to go about cleaning up some of the more blighted properties in town, some of the buildings that are vacant. So we're still in the process of developing that process so we can take care of some of those properties as well. And then to answer Ms. Wilson's direct question about the lease with the Historical Society, I made a recommendation to council, or indicated that it's my opinion that the lease should not be renewed. And I have directed council with that opinion. What council chooses to do with that is up to council. But from the administration standpoint, I don't believe that it's in the city's best interest anymore to continue that lease agreement. The administration believes that there are other uses for that property, and we're considering those uses. So at this juncture, it would be the administration's intent to not renew that lease.
Do you want to address the?
Oh. Yes, there was a letter that was sent to the Historical Society as well about that. I don't know if you received that or not. The first letter.
On April the 16th. And my door has always been open for you to come in and talk with me, and no one from the Historical Society has even approached me. So I, as the mayor, and we have a growing work staff that we need to consider and move to this property. And that would be our roads department. And that is a priority. We are going to have a public works director that has already been hired. We haven't mentioned that, but these are things that have to be done with a growing city. And so it is my intent not to renew the lease for the Historical Society. You could still come in and have discussions with me, but that is the intent. And I do know that the Historical Society is important to this city. I do understand that. But that is the intent of the administration, not to renew the lease.
Was that letter received? Did the Historical Society get that letter? All right.
I think it's dated May 1st.
Yeah. It was several months ago.
The May 1st letter. I must have misinterpreted it.
Yeah, I'm just making it clear now. That's all I have for tonight.
Sergeant, do you have anything you'd like to, our deputy, anything you'd like to say? Okay, thank you. Councilmember Spicer.
One thing I'd like to say is that over the Historical Society issue, council's been advised under the charter, we cannot propose a contract. We can only propose an ordinance or a resolution. So we cannot initiate that on our own. I would still ask the administration to reconsider themselves because the Historical Society is very important to our community. And it's a very needed aspect of our community. And also, since we can introduce resolutions, I would like at the next meeting for us to revisit Resolution 2019-33, the pole fence height resolution. That is all.
Pool fence height.
What was resolution number?
2019-33.
Thank you, Councilmember Spicer.
I
Councilmember,
have a
oh,
question.
I'm sorry.
What, for your proposed resolution, what height would you be asking be used for that resolution?
6 feet. Reduced to 4. Reduced to 4.
Yeah. Just to build off of that, there have been several applications for variances, several lots that address this specific issue of pool fence height. I hear where you're coming from. That has been a recurring issue, so that resolution will be prepared for next meeting.
Councilmember.
That's to initiate the rezoning or the rezoning request.
Yes.
That's the first step, yeah.
Councilmember Federer.
I have nothing to report tonight.
Thank you. Councilmember Carmack. I'm sorry, I wanted to call you Combs.
I just want to say that I agree with him, with Councilman Spicer when it comes to Historical Society. I do think they do a lot of things that people don't even realize, and they are an asset to this community.
Thank you. Councilmember Harrison.
I get, to me, the Historical Society is a gem for the community, and it's really, this is really a hard, to say that it's not needed and just shove them out. I think that, I don't know. I know, understand you need the space. I don't know what's happening upstairs either yet, if there's opportunity up there for, us to utilize that space, but, it's a sad situation to think that we just shut the doors. So I hope that we all reconsider or come up with compromise or something. And thank you for all you guys do every day for us. I really appreciate. And with all the mess and the flooding too, Jerry, tell your guys, thank you very much, what they've been dealing with. I know, and that's it for right now.
Councilmember Allen.
I have a couple of things kind of flip back on some of the things that we said. So on the issue with this gentleman, I have a question because it did come to me and I did take some pictures of a couple of situations in town that, let's just take an RV for instance. So my question is, when there was RVs parked in yards, and I understand, it's on private property, but if they're living in those RVs while they're remodeling their home, that's my question, because I talked to one of the guys at church, because they're carpenters and builders and stuff, and he said to his understanding, if you were actively on that property, remodeling your home, and it is being remodeled, it's completely gutted. Is there something in that ordinance that says we can do this? Do we need a permit? Do we need to come to the city? Do they need to get a permit to show that they're actively remodeling so we can say, hey, yeah, it's there, but it's legal due to. And the next one, that was one question. Go ahead.
Are they actually on private property?
You're not on.
No, they are not. They have it back all the way completely into their yard. It's a very small space. But they are living in it and they are, like I said, actively remodeling.
Sorry. Jerry, I was on. Did you want to? No, I'm good.
So my other one is, let's see. On Roland's issue on the fence, since that went to the appeals committee, the zoning of appeals, and the appeals committee agreed to go to the 4 feet with specifications and certain, they have to do a lot. Trust me, I wouldn't want to do it. I'd rather give me a 6-foot fence and roll with it, because if we're going to go back and revisit that, the council will need a copy of the revised things that they have to do to be able to go to 4 foot. You see where I'm at? Because I know the zoning and appeals board approved the 4 foot, and I agree, we need to go back in and change our resolution. But I think we as bodies need to see what those specifications are before they can go.
So each one of those BZA cases is on a case-by-case basis. So what you would, Roland is proposing to initiate it would go back to the planning commission, hold a public hearing, and then back to here. And whether it be 4 foot. So currently you can have a 6-foot fence, or you can have a 4-foot fence with a retractable pool cover. A lot of the HOAs now don't permit 6-foot fences, which is, some of these people already had fences installed and decide to put a fence up. They're different. Each case is a case-by-case basis. So I think, coming back for the standardized plan, I think the county's residential pool height is 4 foot, I believe. I think statewide is 4 foot. Commercial is 6 foot though.
Okay, one more question.
You're on.
I'm on,
Okay, so Linda, I missed the date for that municipal league. That was October what?
16th.
Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Combs. I was going to call you Carmack.
I'd like to thank the Warren County Sheriff's Department for keeping us safe, and also the Union Township Fire and Rescue for keeping us safe and well, and also the city workers. When that storm rolled through here, there were so many trees down on electric lines, and until those are off, the electric people will not and cannot do any electric line work while those trees are there. So the workers worked into the night to get that done for the residents, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart. And Mr. Spicer pretty much covered it. I was, the Historical Society had asked us a question. What was the council's intent? And I was just going to allow them to know that it wasn't in our hands anymore. It was in the sole hands of the mayor and the administrator. I just wanted you to realize that. And I truly believe with the loss of the Historical Society, a lot of our services will be going away. I know I don't have a vote because I am a member there, but I'm just saying there's so much that's going to be going away as the end of the year. So thank you for everything y'all do.
And I'd like to speak to that because this was not an easy decision. We are looking at expanding our workforce, and we have to have a place to put them. I know that the Historical Society is an important factor in South Lebanon. Like I said, no one came to speak to me from the Historical Society. No one. No one came to speak to me, the mayor, to personally ask about a lease. That was just a presentation.
I don't know. I don't.
That, no,
I will not. I won't say anything else.
the buck stops with me on this, and no one has come to me to discuss a lease. And the administration, with the input of my fiscal officer and my city administrator and the law director, this was not done lightly, but we gave everybody a chance. That when you signed the original lease, there is a line in the original lease that says the municipality, when the building is needed back to the city, that it would revert to the city. And that lease was signed. Everyone knew that. The time has come. We need to move our city workers to this building, the trucks, and our new public works director. We have to streamline the city. That doesn't mean that you cannot go out and try to find another place to lease. I will have my fiscal director tell you the cost that it has cost our city.
Thank you, Mayor Burke. I've been asked just to kind of report on what the finances are that's costing the city currently for that building. Utility-wise, the gas and electric yearly is around $4,500, and then we do provide the water sewer utility bills also, which are probably around $1,200. So we're looking at around $6,000 a year times 5, which is $30,000 a year. The bigger issue of cost is what would we do with the Public Works Department if we do not have a place to put them? We are not in a financial position to build a new public works facility, although that is a long-term goal in our capital plan, is to have a public works facility where the trucks can be housed inside, where we can have a new salt burn. The more we grow, we're going to have more equipment. I believe Assistant City Administrator Jeff Bolin spoke a lot about that we have, salt trucks that it costs us $250,000 dump trucks, but we have to leave them out in the weather. So that is down the line potentially. But right now we are growing with staff, and it's a matter of where are we going to house them? Should we rent space? Because that would also be a financial burden. I'm just reporting based on how much it's costing and what the future would look like if we don't have a place to put them. What would it cost us? as a city to do that.
Yes.
Okay, on the electric bill, that is not our whole bill. We only have a third of the building. There's offices that was told that the water department and people were gonna go in there. It's never been utilized for 5 years, but that's here nor there. But our utility bills, there's no 2 meters there. So why are we being put on there on the electric bill that it was our whole expense? That's what I'm wanting to know. How would you go about doing that?
Sure. I'm not specifically saying that that is your expense for the Historical Society. It's the expense the city is currently paying for that facility. So whether or not the Historical Society would occupy it, or whether or not our city workers will occupy it, it is an expense that we are paying for one of our city facilities and not utilizing the space at all. So it's not specifically to you, the Historical Society.
If there are no more questions, I am going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
Linda, I make a motion to adjourn?
All those in favor? Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.